All right, members, we do have someone here to testify on this bill, so we are going to go out of session. Hear from John Gentry. You would, sir, find you a seat there. You can turn on that microphone, introduce yourself for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes for
My name is John Gentry. I'm a candidate for state senate, practiced 20 years.
Objection.
Am I on? I'm directly on the bill, Chairman.
Okay. All right, let's start the introduction over again. State your name, please.
Yeah. My name is John Gentry. I practiced more than 20 years as a certified public accountant. I'm a former Force Recon Marine, and I'm a concerned citizen.
Thank you.
Our Tennessee Constitution, in Article 11, Section 8, it says the legislature shall have no power to pass any law granting any individual or individuals rights, privileges, immunity, exemptions, than such as may be by the same law extended to any member of the community. We just heard Representative Lambert say that this particularly pertains to judges and lawyers. Article 11, Section 8 was written because the Tennessee pioneers that came to Tennessee, part of the reason that they left was due to social class distinctions, which they despised. They believed that a man ought to be judged and his character is reflected on the work that he does and on his deeds, not by social distinctions. So there's a good reason why the founders put this language into our state constitution. When we look at the bill itself in here, when we look at the bill itself, it says knowingly causes physical contact that is extremely offensive or provocative, but not limited to. So it's void for vagueness. What's extremely offensive or what's provocative? And what if the person is provoked? And we have corrupt court proceedings that happen on a routine basis in this state. And I would be provoked if I were subjected to corrupt court proceedings and maliciously prosecuted. And we see it happening today with President Trump. I think he's being very maliciously prosecuted. But we see that happening in our courts all the time. Now, if I'm not a party to the proceeding, and Representative Lambert just said this, if they're not specifically a part of the proceeding or they're not a court worker, they're not covered under this law. So very, very specifically, it's repugnant to Article 11, Section 8. And what about the people in legislative proceedings? Why aren't they protected? So I think, first of all, the committee has to stand by their oath to support the Constitution of this state. I think this language, extremely offensive, provocative, if you're getting in there and you say, you're a liar, this is wrong, and you accidentally punctuate it a little bit too much and make contact, now you've committed a crime according to this statute for socially distinct persons for which legislation is prohibited in our state constitution. So I would encourage the committee to follow our Constitution. There was a reason that the framers put Article 11, Section 8 into our state Constitution. If anybody has any questions about why I think that this is entrapment in corrupt court proceedings, if somebody is provoked, I think that's entrapment.
Ms. Gentry, your 3 minutes have passed.
Say again?
Your 3 minutes are over for your testimony. So any questions for our guests, Representative Towns?
Thank you. I got a question for you. As it relates to proceedings in court where cases are adjudicated, you got to get through that process. What do you think should be done when you have a situation where you have a person that's unruly and assaulting others? What should be the order to keep that under control?
Thank you, Representative Town. We already have assault statutes on the books. There's chapter after chapter under Title 39 that has assault under there. It's already under there. What this legislation puts in is extremely or offensive contact, not limited to spitting, throwing, offensively transferring bodily fluids. What if you shoulder a guy? Now you committed a crime, and like I said, you're pointing, that's a crime. But we already have assault in our criminal code, and people in that courtroom are already protected. But what this adds is contact. It just says physical contact. So if you touch them and it's provocative or extremely offensive, you're now subject to malicious prosecution. And I think that is in gross violation of Article 11, Section 8 of the Tennessee Constitution. You cannot pass special interest legislation to benefit an individual or individuals, and that's exactly what this law does.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chairman.
Any other questions for our guest? Seeing none, we're going to go back into session. Thank you for being with us today. We're back on House Bill 1658. Any questions for the sponsor, Leader Lambert?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate whatever exactly that was, but the assault statute is already on the books, and what the gentleman just quoted from is the current assault statute. This makes it an E felony. I personally don't think folks should be attacked in a courtroom. There may be others that are perfectly fine with that, but I am not. So I would ask members to please vote in favor of the legislation.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we're voting now to send House Bill 1658 on the full criminal. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes prevail. If you wish to be recorded as a no, please see the clerk.